On December 26, 1862, 38 Dakota warriors were hanged in Mankato, Minnesota, under the orders of President Abraham Lincoln, in the largest mass execution in U.S. history. President Lincoln's treatment of defeated native rebels stood in sharp contrast to his treatment of Confederate rebels. Neither Lincoln, the military commission, nor the reviewing authorities recognized that they were dealing with the aftermath of a war fought with a sovereign nation, and that the men who surrendered were entitled to treatment in accordance with that status. A series of broken peace treaties culminated in the U.S.'s failure to deliver promised food and supplies to the natives, resulting in widespread famine. On August 15th, when half-starved Dakota people asked for food from a well-stocked warehouse, the government food trader Andrew Jackson Myrick replied, "If they are hungry, let them eat grass or their own dung," which was cited by Dakota Chief Little Crow as the last straw in provoking the Dakota to revolt. The uprising was sparked off when 4 starving Dakota youths on an egg-stealing foray impulsively killed 5 white settlers, igniting the war. Over 500 settlers died. The number of Dakota killed was never counted. 2 days after the Dakota surrendered at Camp Release on September 26, 1862, a military commission began trying Dakota men accused of participating in the war. The evidence was sparse. The tribunal was biased, the defendants were unrepresented, and the proceedings were conducted in a foreign language. The rapid trials, some lasting no more than 5 minutes, concluded in November. Of the 392 tried, 303 were sentenced to death, and 16 received prison terms. After reviewing the trial transcripts, President Abraham Lincoln reduced the execution list to 39 names. On the morning of December 26, 1862, in front of an estimated crowd of 4,000 spectators, and on a specially constructed mass-hanging scaffold, 38 men were executed. 1 had received a last-minute reprieve. The men were left dangling from the scaffold for a half hour. The bodies were cut down and hauled to a shallow mass grave on a sandbar between Mankato's Main Street and the Minnesota River. Before morning, most of the bodies had been dug up and taken by physicians for use as medical cadavers. After the execution, it was discovered that 2 of the men had been mistakenly hanged. In the spring of 1863, Minnesota voided treaties with the Dakota and passed the Dakota Expulsion Act, a federal law that makes it illegal for Dakota to live in Minnesota. Although it is no longer enforced, the Dakota Expulsion Act has never been repealed. It is important that we acknowledge and learn from these tragic events to ensure that we do not repeat the mistakes of the past.